you XNLers. No Limit here again. Now time for part 1. My XNLers No Limits Expansion Enhanced Global 1940 House Rules, or YouTube Wars, or XEG40 rules, as I like to call it. And it's going to be a part 1 of a tutorial. It's not really it's not a strategy video. Really not a solo video either. I want to put some tutorial down over here in letters, but I ran out U's and A's and L's. But it's going to be part 1 of my tutorial of how I'm going to explain the many aspects of enhancements of the rules to the units and such. And let's see, I'm going to explain about China's and Japan's natural advantages, and concerning Japan, what they get I think they get an extra and national objective as well. And also I'm going to explain about the Far East Command, land, air, ships enhancements, paratroopers and railroads, and tech roles even. And so let's get to it. Let's start with China first. And this one, well, right now I'm doing just the Pacific side first. The Pacific set up to make it easier. Eventually I'll go to the other side of Europe, but for now this is going to be the Pacific side setup. Let's go. In my rules, let's see. China goes first. So let's get to it. China goes first and start off the war in either the Pacific side, just the Pacific side, or the global, the whole global setup. China goes first. So let's see what they'll do. Well, they have the advantage now. Instead of waiting to be attacked in Yunnan or Hunan, getting wiped out by the Japanese, well, they get to do some wiping out themselves. So from Hunan, I take 4 infantries into Guangxi. It's called Guangxi, not Guangxi. Guangxi. I saw the pronunciation over the internet for that. So it's Guangxi. They're going to. From Yunnan, 4 infantries going in there. And Hunan, 2 infantries more going in there. And of course, my Flying Tiger goes there as well. And this is what General Fung mailed to me. Nice paint job on there. And I put the decals on there to make it look even more better. So it's the only attack. So I'm not going to roll any dice. It's just going to do low luck odds. And so let's say I eliminate all 4 units of the Japanese, 3 infantry and artillery. So they're gone. Bye-bye. Get out of the way. And let's say the Japanese defenders, they wiped out 4 of my infantries as well. So Guangxi is now the Chinese. So I'm going to put a nice marker on there. Hooray! Of course, I'll non-combat my Flying Tiger into Yunnan. And from Sichuan, my 6 infantry will go in Yunnan. And if we Kui Chow, Chow Chow Chow, 2 infantry are going in Yunnan as well. And I should have indicated Do. Crap. Oh well. Anyways. My 12 IPC, since I had the Burma Road open, I'm going to buy a couple artilleries. China could do that now. This is going first. They're going to spend almost all. They're going to spend 11 of the 12 they started with. They're going to buy 2 artilleries and infantry. So let's go on to the non-combats first. So from Shanxi, they're going to Quichao. 2 from Xuyang going to Shanxi. So now, I'll put down my unit. 2 artilleries going to Yunnan. And my infantry as well is going to Yunnan. put them in Guangxi, but I don't want to do that. Because the counterattack the Japanese are going to do on there. What? So, now the Chinese can put hurting on the Japanese at the beginning of the game. And I can even stack up in Yunnan because I don't have to worry about Japan air raiding it in the first round. So I get the what? 6, 8, 9 infantry in Yunnan in the first round. A couple of artilleries, and of course my flying tigers as well. And one of the national advantages of the Chinese get is that they're able to receive a fighter from the U.S. a currently existing fighter from the U.S. to be flown from one of the U.S. territories. So that's what I'm going to do with my U.S. turn. I'm going to do that. They can fly. Let's see, since it's come from an airbase, they can call it Flight 5. But they can go to any when they're receiving a fighter from the U.S. It's a Lend-Lease. That on the U.S. turn, they can land anywhere, any territory that the Chinese can legally occupy. So that's including Guangxi or Burma. Let's see, could it reach Burma? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or Burma, or any territory where the Chinese can legally occupy. But that's only if the Japanese don't do a J1 on me and eliminate everything in the Philippines. We'll see if Japan will make a J1 on their turn. So now, let's see, I collect, since I got one extra from Guangxi, that's 13 territories. So 13, they saved one. That's 14. And the Burma Road open, they get their NOs of 6 IPCs. So that's 20 to spend. Hey, nice for the Chinese. So Chinese are not such a pushover in my rules when they go first. Of course, it makes it harder for the Japanese, but who cares about them? I'm trying to make this version less Axis friendly. So they'll try to make it harder for the Axis powers. So China going first, and with the Far East Command as well, it does make the Japanese turn that much harder. So that's it for the Chinese. So let's go for the Japanese now, shall we? Yeah, well, what are they gonna buy? I should have done it this way. Well, one of the Japanese advantages is that Japanese. I'm looking at my screen here. Okay, one of my Japanese advantages is that they can, for first build of a minor factory, it's half price at 6. Because I always thought that a factory should have existed in either Manchuria or even Shanghai in the beginning of the game anyways. But since I don't like to put extra units on the board at the beginning of the game, I'm trying to make this setup, the unit setup and faculty setup the same as an out of box. But this way, my pet peeve, the first Japanese minor industrial complex build is half price at 6 IPC. So that's what they're going to do with their 26 IPCs. They're going to build a minor industrial complex. They're going to buy a token tech roll. This is sort of like anniversary style edition. I'm going to buy one tech roll, 5 IPCs, and also I'm going to buy a transport, and I'm going to buy a heavy tank. I'm under my rules, you can buy, all the major nations can buy one heavy tank for each round if they choose to do so. So that's what I'm going to do. And it has to be placed in a factory as a territory value of 3 or more. Of course, obviously if we go to Japan, and you can do it. You can do it. Your regular unit, put some kind of marker underneath it to indicate as a heavy tank. But you also can do it this way. You can use your customize to scale piece as a heavy tank. That's what I'm doing with mine. That's it's obviously, it looks like it's not an original tank, but it looks like a heavy tank now, or tankette. Considering the Japanese, they have small tanks, so they're heavy tanks, which just cost 8 IPCs. And what a heavy tank can do, they can attack or defend at a 4. They move too, but they cannot blitz. No. Since they're a heavy tank, they're too heavy to blitz through a territory in a combat session. And let's see, and also can take 1 damage. So, let's say you put, I should have this ready, but I didn't. See if it takes 1 hit in the battle, if it survives the battle. You just put 1 damage marker under the tank to be repaired for free at any territory it begins with until the next round. It can't be repaired right away, but until the next round or to the next turn. In any territory they're in, for free. Sort of like ships has to wait to be repaired at a factory site. But for a tank, you don't have to go to a factory site. It can be in any territory. And it costs 8 IPCs, so that should be what? I should spend 24. I've saved 2. Remember, the first industrial complex is 6 IPCs. Remember that. Of course, the token is 5. And I'm going to roll my token, see if I can get that tech roll. So I'll use that. Let's see. And of course, I got 5. Though I missed. But under these beautiful rules, let's see, how do I have that? Since I missed on my first tech roll, of course I carried a token to the next round, but the next roll will be at a 5 or a 6. So remember that. It'll be for the 5 or 6 for the next roll. Now if I That's my clock talking. My Three Stooges clock. Let's say in the next round, I also miss on a 5. And the next round after that goes down to a 4. So just indicate what you... And it stays at a 4, if need be, for the rest at that rate until you get that successful tech roll. Yeah, for now it's going to be at a 5 for next round. So I'm going to put it here in Tokyo to remind me that it's going to be a 5 or a 6 to roll. So, very good. All right, so of course I'll wait. Of course I'll do my combat moves. I'm not going to roll any dice. So, of course, from Jihad to Chahar. And of course, I'm going to attack Guangxi. So from Kiangxi, everything's going in there. And then, let's see. Of course, all these guys in Anway. Well, these guys anyway, right? I'll leave that there for non-combat. And from dive bombers have a special power. in my house rules. All right. So they could do a strafing rule. They could do a strafe. So that's what I'm going to do is 1, 2. Of course, when you strafe with a dive bomber or a tactical bomber, as you call it, well, they call them dive bombers. This is a special power of a dive bomber. They go 1, 2, yeah. They can attack the grounder there. It can't. It can't be combined with any other units. Of course, this is a strafing run. It can also take another dive bomber with it, but it cannot. Of course, with just one being going against one infantry, it can't do it because they can't outnumber the grounders coming in. The attack for the strafing run. So this is legal, 1 against 1. Of course, it still attacks at a 1, but it's going to be for only 1 round of combat. And if it happens after, and the defender, its defense rolls down a factor down by 1, -1. So instead of defending at 2, it defends at a 1. If it was an artillery, it'll be from 2 to 1. If it was a tank, it'll be a 3 to a 2. But right now, it's just infantry going against my strafing run of my dive bomber. So I'm going to do that. Okay, that's one. Okay, let's see. Of course, I put all the shipping off of a Guangxi. Of course, my transport's coming in with a tank and man coming in there. And let's see what else. Oh yeah. Yeah, my such. As well from bombardment. Now, okay, this transfer 19 is coming in as well. It's going to pick up a man and artillery. Of course, that's not going to be longer Chinese after the battle. And now the destroyer, in my version, you can pick up one. You can carry 1 infantry. That's what I'm going to do, but it has to be, of course, if it's going to be an amphibious assault. If you want to land, it has to come in. It has to be paired with a surface warship. So that's legal. I got enough warships to pair it with it. So it's going to land in there as well. Of course, if there's any unit, sea units in Sea Zone 36, because I had to try to get rid of it. But since the destroyer is coming in with a cargo of 1 infantry, it cannot fire. If it lands a troop, if it's meaning to land a troop into Guangxi. So since there's no units in there, so it'll fire anyways if I wanted to. All right, so let's see what else. Also, with bombers, these bombers are going to come in. They got 2 bombers coming in. They're going to pick up 4 infantry from Tokyo. They're going to go in there as well. Since they're coming with 4 troops or 2 troops on each bomber, the second troop on the bomber, second troop, which would be a paratrooper on a bomber, will reduce the flight range of the bomber down by 1. And since I'm coming off an air base which gives me a bomber flight range of 7, but since I come in with 2 troops on there, that second troop reduces that flight range. It's going to reduce it by 1. So I have a flight range coming off an air base of 7. It's going to be of 6 down to 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's legal. And I could just land in Guangxi. It has to land back to a friendly territory, of course. It's going to carry 4 troops into that battle as well. Now, ordinary in my rules, you have to pay for each paratrooper of 1 IPC each. So that would be what, 4 IPCs they have to pay. But at the beginning of the game, any major nation that starts out with bombers, they get 2 air transports for free for each bomber. Well, 2 air transports for free for each bomber. So I start with 4, so they don't have to pay for that for the initial paradrop. And I'm using them all, so I don't have to pay for it. So that's gone. And I'm gonna, of course, indicate that these are for paratroopers. You use your special insignia for it. I'm using mine. I'm using these from Axis Ellie's expansion game that came out in the 90s from Gamers Paradise, an old store. And with that cost, you had to ordinarily have to pay for the paratroopers. They get to attack. Each paratrooper attacks are 2 or less for the remainder of the battle only. Afterwards, it reverts back to a regular infantry. And of course, it can't retreat, but in this battle, I don't have to worry about that because only going against 2 troops. So it gets attacked at 2 for each paratrooper for that cost of 1 IPC. So I think that's kind of nice. And let me see, I'm going 20 minutes. So I might have to stop because I don't want to go over a half hour on this. So, so anything into the battle? I don't know. Oh, yeah. Carry another. This destroyer is going to carry another troop from Tokyo Bay. 1, 2, 3. He's going to drop them off. And almost, it's easily paired up with another surface warship, so that's legal. But when you're carrying cargo, when you're carrying the infantry on a destroyer, I should indicate a destroyer gets a movement of 3. But from a naval base, it doesn't get an extra bonus, so it's 3 no matter what, unless it's carrying cargo of 1 infantry, then it's down to the 2. But since it's coming from a naval base, it's to a 3, 1, 2, 3. So it's 3 anyways. But if it was coming from, let's say, over here, it couldn't do that. If it was carrying a man from CISO-18, 1, 2, 3, I couldn't do that because it's not coming off a naval base. It's reduced down to the 2. But in this case, it's coming off a naval base, so it's dropping off of the infantry in there, in Guangxi. So, let's see. Is that all the battles? Yep. So let's just say you're a war pig and you're Japan, and if you're playing over the YouTube, he rolls for the Chinese defenders. Of course, this is easily eliminated. These 2 infantries. Well, let's say if you're a war pig and you're rolling for the Chinese defenders as well, him being Japan. Let's just say the Chinese get 100% hits. Sorry, war pig, but you gotta get with those rolls now. Okay, now let's roll for that strafing run in Kui Chao with my die bomber. Let's see what I get. Of course, it's ordinary. Of course, I missed that at 6. Now I get a 6. Now the defender being an infantry, it's reduced down to a 1 factor down to a 1. So let's see if they get a hit. Ooh, that's a 4. So that's a wash in Kui Chao. So it's his strafing runs are just for 1 round of combat. It just goes back to Guangxi. Meow. And so, of course, these bombers have to go. They still have one back on their flight range. They're going to Guangxi as well. And let's see, I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to use my marshalling card that I got from the revised edition of Axis and Allies. That was the second game that came after the classic, about 20 years after the classic came out. I'm going to use my marshalling card for my aircrafts. That's the way they look like, and I'm going to put it as a 2 marker, because all the aircrafts are going to land in Kiangsi. Yeah, let's see, I'll land all my fighters in Kiangsi. Let's see. There's some movie ships here as well. From Tokyo Bay. Now, since I still have a destroyer in Tokyo Bay, since they can pick up, now it's going to be non-combat, I can either put it, I can pick up a man from Korea and go 1, 2, 3, then drop him off into Guangxi legally. I don't even have to be paired with a warship if I want this. This is non-combat. But what I'm going to do is going to go to Sea Zone 17, pick up that man from Iwo Jima. And since it's coming off a naval base, this is legal, because I'm going to go 3 spaces with it. Even though cargo reduces a destroyer's movement capacity down to 2. Of course, in my rules, ordinarily a 3 for a destroyer movement. But since it's coming from a naval base, it's going to go 1, 2, 3, and put them in. We'll put him in Kiangsu. Is it Kiangsu? Yeah, Kiangsu. So that's why I'm going to do it like that. Because these 3 infantry from Kiangsu are going to Kiangsi. And let's see. Okay, now a mech, they can carry in non-combat phase. They can carry a troop or an artillery. There's no artillery here. I already transported that already off a transport. It's going to carry a troop in non-combat. It's going to go Jianwei. How about that? So that's what a mech can do. It can be infantry or artillery in the non-combat phase, of course. Not it can't do it in combat form. Of course, I'll move these guys here. Okay, of course, move that. Okay, now this fleet over here, I got a destroyer, a carrier. Now I should indicate this before. There's 2 straits here in the Pacific: the Malacca Straits, off of Malaya, controlled by Malaya, or the San Bernardino Straits. They work like this. If you don't, or an ally doesn't control those straits, let's just say the San Bernardino Straits controlled by the Philippines, if you enter in and exit out, ordinarily, let's say this destroyer can go 1, 2, 3 into Sea Zone 36 off of Guangxi, but it can't do that. Even though it's coming off a naval base, it has to be 1, 2, and since it doesn't cost any extra movement to move into it, but it does cost an extra movement to move out. So I will have 1 left, but it will have to take an extra movement. I can't do that. It'll have to be what? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can't do that. So I'm not going to even go into San Bernardino Straits. And since I get I asked for permission from the Americans to use his straits, not canal, straits. He says no, so I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is try to go around it. And of course, in my non-combat fashion, going off a naval base, it's going to take up one man. 1, 2, 3. Supplant them in Kiangsi. Excellent. I'll do the same thing for my carrier. 1, 2, 3. I don't want to be stuck in the Philippines and such. It's like it will take 1 extra month to leave the Straits. So that's how the Straits worked for both Malacca and San Bernardino. And let's see. Also, finally, cut it out. This transfer that wasn't used in Season 20. Empty transports now. If it's empty transports, has no cargo in a non-combat phase, of course. Not combat phase. In a non-combat phase, gets to move 3. Well, you could do in a non-combat phase, I imagine, but it has to be no cargo on it, so what's the use? So from Season 20, since it has no naval base, ordinarily would be, 2 spaces, 1, 2. But since it's empty of cargo, the transport's going to move 3 if it has no cargo on it. So that's what I'm going to do here. 1, 2, 3. All the way to the Carolines. And on my next turn, if the Brits don't attack it, I'm going to transport my infantry and AA gun off of there. And come on, an naval base, I go 1, 2, 3. How about that? I can even go in the Philippines if I want to attack that. Or I could just leave the AA gun and just pick up this guy as well on my next turn. So, hope you enjoyed that. Let's see, now I got to put down my units. Just reduce minor industrial complex will cost 6. It's going to go into Shanghai or Kiangsu. Of course, my heavy tank can only be built, which I built for 8 IPCs. It can only be built out of a factory that has a 3 or more territory value. It's going to Tokyo Bay along with my transport. Excellent! So since I'm going over 32 minutes here, this is going to be the end of the video. And part 2 will be starting with the U.S. and also the Far East Command. So I hope you enjoyed that. Hey, look at that! With coming off with 2 destroyers and those paratroopers, I put an extra 6 men into Guangxi. So I got what? 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 units of Guangxi. So if the Chinese want to attack me, hey, go ahead. It may be able to anyway. So okay, okay. Of course, all my aircrafts in Guangxi, with the exception with the ones on the carriers, all in Guangxi, indicated by my marshalling card and that number there. So I hope you enjoyed that. And next, we'll go for part 2, my Expansion+Enhanced Global 1940 house rules in the next video. So, don't live it out.